But that's our reality. I'm going to share the screen and then we'll start recording.
I already started, but that's okay.
Oh, well, then we'll cut this out.
We can, yes.
We'll cut this part out. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy end of May, rapidly starting summer. Thank you for being here for our monthly meeting. And today's agenda, we're going to have an awesome mission moment as usual, spotlight on our vehicle sales. And then we've got some awesome finds. We have 45 years worth of IYR wisdom and contribution to celebrate today. Some quick updates from culture, a bunch of organization updates, and then the rest of the stuff we normally do, financial IQ, Q&A, and then relationship building from development and marketing. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Mr. Klein, share with us about vehicle sales.
Yes, thank you, Scott. Hello, everybody. As many of you know, Social Enterprise's job is to support our mission with revenue, and we do that in many ways. Everybody knows about the stores. We recycle and distro. We sell products online and e-commerce, but maybe not a lot of you have heard about our vehicle sales. But this is a real success story that I want to share with you. For almost 25 years, we've been operating that vehicle lot, which is right next to our Orchard store in Boise. And there's a little fun fact I want to share with you about that. And that is our area manager, Robin Glenn, used to work in the vehicles sales many, many years ago. She told me how about she would keep the cars clean out there, help with the selling. And so that was kind of a cool little item that she shared with me. Many of you remember Al Obremski. He was our vehicle sales manager for quite a few years, but he retired, and we were lucky to find Tim Lindsay, who's our new vehicle sales manager. He's been with us almost a year, and we're really excited. He's got a lot of years in selling in the vehicle world, so that's really been helpful for us. Okay, next slide. So one of the challenges we have is to get more vehicle donations. We're expecting to get about 150 donated vehicles this year. But if you go back about 5 years, it used to be about 350. Tax laws changed, and that's one of the biggest reasons that there's less donations than there were 5 years ago. So we're working closely with Jolene in marketing, who's been a great help in making sure that we have a big social media and website presence for our vehicles. I'll share that with you a little bit later on. And also we work with community donation partners who send people over to us with donated cars, and we share the revenue with them. So Women and Children Alliance, for example, is one of our partners. So donations are a big challenge for us that we're working very hard on. Some positive changes, though, is we're supplementing the donations with other ways to get revenue in vehicles. One of them is buying vehicles at car auctions and then reselling them at a profit, which is a new thing for us. And the other new thing for us is selling customer or bank consignment vehicles. So we have a partnership with a bank, and they have repossessed cars, and they put their cars on the lot, and for a commission, we sell their vehicles for them. And we do the same thing with some customers. We've had some customers give us their cars, we sell it for them, and we get a commission, and they get to sell their cars. So that's been two nice little things that we've added. And those changes have doubled the amount of dollars that vehicle sales contributes to the mission now, which is almost $100,000 more than last year. So Tim is doing a great job over there. Okay, next slide. So how can you help us in vehicle sales and help our mission? Let family and friends know how they can help our mission and move their vehicles that they don't want anymore. And not only do they, again, need to donate the car, but they could also sell their cars for a consignment fee. And I have to tell you, if anybody has tried to sell a used car, like on Facebook Marketplace, it's a lot of work. And so this takes that work out of it. You get to move the car, you get a lot of visibility for it. And so that's really awesome. Also, our vehicle lot has improved quality and selection by the things that I was just telling you about. So encourage people to check us out if they're looking for a car, because it's not just old beat up cars there. There's nice cars, they're clean. We're selling consignment vehicles, and some cars are only a couple of years old. So there's a lot of variety on the lot now. If you go over there, it's really, really a good place to go visit. So the vehicle lot is at 250 North Orchard, and there's the phone number for you to call, or you have your friends and family call if they want to donate a vehicle. There's also you can go online and and look at our vehicle center. It shows what cars are out there on the lot. And also, one thing that nobody really knows about is that if you're outside the Treasure Valley, or if you know someone outside the Treasure Valley, if they go to careasy.org, that is a partner that we work with. Let's say that you're in Coeur d'Alene and you want to donate a car. If you go through careasy.org and name Idaho Youth Ranch as the recipient of the dollars, we get 80% of what CarEasy gets for the car. So that's a really great deal for us. And we can take it from all over the country. We just had a car donated from Seattle that somebody put our name on, and we're going to get 80% of what they get for that car. So a lot of ways to help the mission through vehicle sales. And please let me know if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, we do have one question, which is, does our employee store discount card work at the car lot?
No, that's one place where the discount doesn't work, and also no loyalty points for customers when they buy at the lot, just because of the sheer dollar amount we're talking about there versus a normal item.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Rich. Thanks for a great mission spotlight. And just a reminder to everyone, if there's this is a really high quality, once a month shot into our mission that we can share with our whole staff. And we rotate the topics, and frequently, if there's something you've been wanting to know about and think we haven't covered in a while, feel free to send that to us, to Bernadette or to me, or just talk to your manager, because we love spotlighting our mission. Thanks, Rich. Okay, 45 years of service to this organization you get to hear about. First, Jalee, thank you for joining us here, Jalee from Pocatello. We can always count on Jalee to show spirit and spread joy with her creative costumes. She is such a reliable coworker, and when her coworkers got to describe her, I hope you're listening here, Jalee, I can see you on my screen. Kind, patient, creative, helpful, giving, and understanding. Thank you, Jalee, for 5 years of contributing to our mission. And next, Terry, right there, same office. Oh, uncover your face, Terry. It's all good stuff, right? Two real values to highlight with Terry: commitment and growth. You know, she's had an amazing 10 years with this organization. You all know some of what our organization has faced, triumphs and challenges. She's also faced staffing shortages, transitions through 3 different area managers, and Terry has led with grace and perseverance. She's always finding creative ways to bring in revenue for our mission and keep the customers coming back. Her relentless drive is inspiring, and she really lives out that value of commitment to this mission. And part of that is her attitude of let's all do this together and find a way forward no matter what the challenge. Thank you, Terry, for 10 years of awesome service to our mission. All right, 15 years, 2 crazy characters on the screen. So we've got 30 years of experience between the 2 of them. First, Mel O'Neill. Everybody knows Mel. She's the embodiment of compassion and has an innate ability to build relationships with everyone she meets. That's been a huge value to our organization. Internally, she loves being a help and a support to managers and their teams. And many of you know she's also worked diligently externally. And some of the most important partnerships with our community organizations for hiring have been places like Jesse Tree, Our Path Home, Catch, and the WCA. Many of our staff have come from those connections and helping their residents and clients change their lives by getting employment with IYR. Thanks, Mel, for true commitment for 15 years here. And Tony, maybe we can all guess what value Tony might express every once in a while. A little joy spreading. Thanks, Tony, for 15 years here as a handler in Boise Distro. He is beloved by everyone who gets to work with him, and even those that are just passing through. So Tony is dedicated in his commitment to IYR and a great example of our values, and like I said, including joy. Thank you, Tony, for 15 years. Okay, Culture Committee, a few quick and important updates. First of all, the Culture Committee is going to be meeting on June 18th for a working session and to get a lot of things organized for the next year with the new folks that have volunteered to be a part of those. Just a reminder, you don't have to be on Culture Committee to make a recommendation. So if you have an idea or a question, email the committee, and everyone's voice shapes our culture. Here's some of the things that are currently coming up. There's a Spirit Week. They're working on a well-being resource list, a Spartan race for IYR, and our onboarding presentation. So let's talk a little bit about Spirit Week. You're going to get this information later, so I don't need to go into too much detail, but just so you know, June 16th to 22nd is going to have lots of opportunities to express your spirit in different ways. Thanks to our culture committee. And part of our culture is supporting our staff. Yes, 50% discount, June 12th through 17th. No, it does not apply to the car lot. Thank you, Rich. But just about everywhere else. So keep that in mind. And also some of you have calendars, and our 50% discount stacks on top of the calendar coupons. So enjoy that, staff. And thank you for supporting our mission through direct purchases. Okay, annual awards. This is such a fun time because we get to call out 3 people. For those that are relatively new, once a year we have annual awards, and 3 individuals are chosen from across the organization. I'm going to highlight 2 of the 3. So first of all, for outstanding service delivery, thank you to Donna, our beloved leader of adoptions, right, for over 30 years. She received this award for outstanding service delivery and all that she does. Just so y'all know, the award is some of the original wood from the ranch, from the ranch in Rupert, with our logo emblazoned on it, our original logo. So thank you, Donna, for outstanding service delivery. Second annual award, Jessica Park from Anchor House, leads our administrative team up there and actually has provided leadership all over the state. Some of what this award is given for is doing that, providing team support and building teamwork across the state for our programs, all of our programs. So thank you, Jessica, for outstanding team involvement, and congratulations to both of you. And just in case you were thinking of not plugging in next month, we're going to be sharing one more next month, but it's a surprise. Part of this is a scheduling. We always need to do these in person and also have it be a surprise. So we've got one more to go for modeling IYR values. Okay, I want to spend a few minutes on org structure update. So please open up your hearts and your ears. And we've been talking about org structure for the last couple of years, and I want to review a little bit where we're at. First of all, just a celebration of all we've overcome. And in case people need a reminder of how much we've done over the last 10 years, here's a couple of the small hills, some of them large hills, that we have as a team have overcome. And going back to 2015, that's when our original ranch in Rupert was closed. But remember some of these details. From 17 to 19, we needed to close 7 stores, and we completely retooled our distribution center. In 18, we got Medicaid for outpatient, which we did not have previously. In 19, we opened the equine arena. We also redid our mission and values. And then you start seeing stuff that a lot more people are going to remember. In 2020, we started our capital campaign for the ranch. We increased our 401k, that's our retirement matching for our staff. Then this thing called the pandemic started. That was a small hill. We added telemental health. We went through a closure of Hayes for 6 months in 21. And at the same time, we also broke ground on our residential center for healing and resilience. 22, we got Joint Commission accredited. Massive expansion of YouthWorks over the last 3 years. Significant increase in our repair and replacement funding over the last 5 years, and lots of work on our culture. That included getting our pay grades in line, doing a wage test for social enterprise, and doing pay equity work. Tons of growth in donors and events and grants, and volunteers in general. Our number of volunteers has exploded. We had a little fire in 22. 23, we opened the RCH&R. It took a year for us to get Medicaid approval there, and it took the last 2 years for us to get through the fire rebuild and lawsuit. If anybody feels like, wow, we've accomplished a lot, that's exactly right. And there's so many things that aren't on this list. This is just some of the highlights of how our team has come over the last 10 years to get through so many small hills. In many ways, this has been all we could handle, right? And I would put this organization up against any other for responding to needs and overcoming crises, right? But one of the things it meant is we also didn't have a lot of extra capacity for evaluating other opportunities that came our way. I want to talk a little bit about right where we are at this moment, because it feels different to us. It feels different to the board. Our reserves are at the goal we set 6 years ago and beyond. All our pay grades are market-based right now, and everyone's in their grade. By the way, these are on here because they are changes. For those that are relatively new to the organization, these are things that were not in place 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, right? Our RCH&R is open. We have 26 youth and are growing. All of our programs are fully staffed. Our Hayes census is stabilized and our staffing there as well. Our thrift stores are back to regular schedule. Social enterprise revenues are growing. And our repair and replacement funds have been funded fully. So we also have a lot of unexplored opportunities. And that's where we start talking about org structure and what I've been talking about over the last year, and we are finally implementing. We're in an incredible spot for our organization. And I mentioned the board feels this way. I know our staff leaders feel this way. We haven't necessarily over those last 10 years been able to pause and just look at the future and say, wow, we've got a lot of options. Where do we go? So looking forward, our North Star is always the youth and families of Idaho, and how might we serve them better? And now we've got some time to create and get ready for what's next. So going forward, we know we need to adjust our structure, because with all the things we've accomplished over the last 10 years, one of the things we've learned is we don't have a lot of extra capacity to evaluate opportunities fully and prepare for them. So going forward, our structure's got to create that capacity. We need to have processes that push us toward flexibility, innovation, and growth. And what that means for most of you on here is that decision-making needs to be pushed further down in the organization. We need to have leadership growing more all across the organization at lower levels. So what does that mean in terms of structure? I've shared with you the model over the last year, but wanted to let everybody know we're moving into our reporting structure where we have 3 new positions in the organization. Want to welcome Daniel Sigler. You guys have heard that already, but our Chief Advancement Officer, Daniel Sigler, is in one of those 3 roles. We have yet to fully define and fill out the other 2 roles. So the Chief Implementation Officer role, while we work to fill that out and define it, I'm going to sit in that seat and help us move forward there. And our Chief Sustainability Officer role, Kim Thomas, has agreed to sit in that seat and help us fill out that role. So huge thank you to everyone who's adjusting to this structure, and you will be kept informed, and we will keep communicating about any changes that may come to you. What most of you will notice, really all of you will notice, is this isn't changing your reporting structure right now, but it does need to lead to change. We need to be, as an organization, becoming more efficient, more nimble, and like I said, pushing decision making and leadership growth down the organization. So what are we doing right now as we're moving into that? I want to tell everybody, thank you for all your work on the budget. Our FY26 budget was approved by the board recently, and a couple highlights about that. And again, this speaks to where we're at in our organization's history. You all remember the model that we look at in terms of our 5S approach to strength. People see our service work and our staff, the front 2 legs of the horse. That's what's so visible in our communities. But behind those, our savings, that means our financial health, and our structures, how are we taking care of our buildings? And then all of the things that feed the mission, right? From social enterprise to philanthropy, to how we all work on our branding and our volunteerism. So our budget that was just approved, a couple highlights, but again, thank you to everybody. It's an awesome budget. In terms of service, we're moving away from the PLL program, unless it comes back to us, but our team worked so hard last year to try to make that happen. And quite frankly, the partners that we were working with, it didn't turn out like we thought. So PLL is not in there from a program standpoint, but everything else in programs is growing, continue to grow at RCH&R, and adding some positions there. From a staffing standpoint, the staffing leg, we had a focus on total compensation. It does add the 3 new strategic positions, as well as funds for leadership development across the organization. In terms of savings, we still have estate gifts going to reserves, and we maintain our 90 days of cash. But a big shift from this year, you all know that we've been building cash for a number of years to help us get through emergencies. You know, we've had a couple of those, and we've been glad we had the cash. Our budget this year is not focused on building cash because we've gotten there. So great job, everybody. From a structure standpoint, we've got 40% of depreciation in our repair and maintenance of facilities. That's a pretty high mark, just for those that aren't familiar with those numbers. We've also added a new position just to focus on CapEx work. And just so you all know, we're getting our first electric trucks. We've already got them ordered and here locally and just waiting for us to be ready to take them. From a support standpoint, feeding the horse, the biggest change in this budget is just significant social enterprise improvements as we've now gotten all through the fire. We also have some creative things from our development department, and that includes a new Idahoan mailing initiative. So incredible work on the budget. Thank you, everybody. getting us there. And then I just want to talk a little bit about what's built into that. We had a pretty big vision for the last couple of years in terms of our strategic plan. What I showed you, though, is we're on the cusp of really being able to think about a lot of new things. For right now, we are going to be starting a new strategic plan process. We want to make sure everyone knows while we're in that progress, we're continuing to work on those goals and wrap up the last strategic plan. But we are going to be headed into a comprehensive process to create our vision. The board of directors will be working with staff to do that. And again, we're at a spot in our organization where our vision can be broader than it has been in a number of years because of all of the hard work and the things we've gotten through. Daniel Sigler, our Chief Advancement Officer, is our staff lead on the project. So be watching for stuff about strategic planning in the coming months. I'm going to skip through this, but I want you to have this in what gets mailed out to you. If you're wondering, okay, where are we at with the current strategic plan and what are the goals we're continuing to work on? Those are going to be in the slideshow. I'm going to skip through this, but you'll notice most of our goals are on track or completed. There's some that are a little behind and some that we've been significantly behind and are either had to retool or we're still working to get done. So I'm going to skip through those. Just know they're in what gets sent out to you. So I mentioned our board being excited. One of the really fabulous experiences for us was about a week ago, coming up on 2 weeks ago, where 20 out of 22 board members traveled to North Idaho. It's the first time in 10 years we've had a board meeting, a formal board meeting in North Idaho. Most importantly, they got to meet our awesome staff. You're seeing some of the pictures here. They toured Anchor House, toured the Post Falls Distro, the Post Falls Thrift, Coeur d'Alene thrift stores, and they also had an incredible equine therapy experience at Micah Meadows. Probably the most important thing is just to say the board is right along with us on that mountaintop right now saying, wow, we have accomplished so much. And now we can really lean into our mission with a lot of possibilities going forward. A very exciting time. Let me jump to our programs update, and I'm going to start with a really cool part of those 2 days for the board. So a huge thank you to the North Idaho team for all of the presentations and for this equine experience. They got to go to Micah Meadows and have a group equine experience working with the horses and processing through some of the board topics. And it was really incredible for them to firsthand experience what it's like to work with these members of our team. Other other programs updates. Little jealousy going on for some of us. Hayes went to a monster truck jam. Got the whole house group cheering for their favorite trucks and reacting. And then a new thing, YouthWorks has a new career exploration partner in Shields. Some of you know about Shields, an awesome partner to have participating in our YouthWorks program for our kids. And then this is just such a cool highlight. Thank you for sharing it. We were able to celebrate a post-adoption visit for a child who was adopted here from India and has overcome incredible medical challenges and is thriving here. So thanks to the whole team for helping this child grow to be active and confident with the new life and also facilitating the post-adoption visit. From the residential center updates, you can see we're serving even more counties now. We have 26 on campus. You've noticed that number growing. We had 4 admissions in April and 2 discharges. And we have 69 youth that we've served at the RCH&R so far. As always, they continue with their tradition of having awesome family meals. We aren't allowed to show pictures of our kids there, but you can see a lot of what they're doing. And this is the Cinco de Mayo celebration they had with incredible, authentic food. Just one more comment about programs and what people are really busy with right now is our survey window. Joint Commission is a national accrediting body that has accredited our organization. Once every few years, they come back, and this is our first time that they're doing the full agency all at once survey for Joint Commission. It's a ton of work for our programs folks and all of the support systems and the support staff across the organization that help programs. So what you all need to know is we're in this window of time that they can show up any day they want. And that's a 5-month window where we don't know when they'll arrive. So thanks to that team for being ready every day to have our programs evaluated. Social enterprise, really cool. This Saturday, if anybody's here in the Treasure Valley from 1 to 3 at Jump in Boise, is this awesome Revive fashion show. It's free to the community. Just so you know, the clothes come from IYR stores and people have a great time creating a fashion show. Lots of parent and child combos get involved in this, and it's a huge celebration of youth and also Idaho Youth Ranch and our support of the community. Some of you know we had an event in North Idaho just 10 days ago. Huge success, so thank you to the team up there. This was a record-breaking year for the Black Rock event. We had our highest attendance and also our highest revenue and success. So huge gratitude to our team in North Idaho that has actually been adapting to a lot of changes and really pulled this off. You can see some of the fun below there. An awesome band plays and dancing and things like that. Great Western theme. Upcoming events, you guys can see this though. You know, for North Idaho, we've got Wine, Women, and Shoes in July. We are doing our invitational golf tournament at the end of July, and we got Unite for Hope Canyon County. So you all have tons of contacts and people out there that might want to get closer to our mission. Please feel free to share about that. We love having people learn a lot about our mission in a pretty quick shot at one of these nights. Okay, and lastly, people keep asking questions. Where are we at with what we hear about going on legislatively? Just want to remind everybody, we're trying to stay on top of this. There's a lot of moving parts. We will communicate with our staff teams anytime there's a change impacting Idaho Youth Ranch. Right now, the biggest thing we're watching is on the federal level, just watching the discussions around Medicaid that are a part of the budget process or the big bill that's being worked on right now. So we will let everybody know if we see any of those things coming through that is going to change anything about how we do something. Probably the biggest impacts we're seeing locally right now are to the VISTA program. We haven't felt those as much at Idaho Youth Ranch, but a number of our other nonprofit collaborators and partners have had their VISTA programs cut. So those are those internship programs. So we're watching that closely. All right, financial IQ. If this doesn't excite you, it should, because it should be making us a lot more able to be transparent and efficient. We're getting new budget software. It's coming in July. Just so y'all know, training's being planned and will roll out, but it's going to allow many people, including all managers, a lot more access to budget details, their results, and how to predict and move forward more quickly with their teams. Okay, Q&A. Do we have any questions, Bernadette?
There was one question for Rich that we didn't get to, which is, do we do body work on the cars at the lot ever? Sorry,
I can answer that quickly.
Okay.
We do work on our cars if it will add value more than the cost. So we've got great partnerships that they can get things done on the car if they really see it adding value. That, not just body work, but also other mechanical work on cars that's needed. They do a determination of what's needed and whether it will more than pay for itself.
Okay. And that was the only question.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to move to our relationship building brought to you by the development and marketing team.